Good morning, this is Penny Ferguson, a living leader. Now, before I talk about anything today, I just want to show you my garden. Have a look-see. How about that then? Isn't that amazing? We've had a lot of snow in the night, so I'm now just coming back into my office so that I can actually talk to you, but I had to show you. It was quite a shock waking up this morning to see all that snow. So what am I going to talk about today? What is my thought for this week going to be? I want to talk about one thing that really links to two things. One, it links back to my conversation with Chris Weston, which was the last Thursday of February. But I also want to link it to International Women's Day, and that is about authenticity. Because being authentic, I really want you all to recognise, is just a choice. You choose who you want to be. And I can remember when I first started delivering my program, one of the clients that we had, and they wanted to do a rollout to the entire organisation of our leadership program, was police force, one of the smaller police forces. Well, it's not smaller now, but it was at the time. I'm going back about 28, 29 years. And I remember it was really quite scary because there were a lot of women, senior women there. At that time, you hadn't got any who had reached the level of chief constable. To have a woman chief constable was sort of unheard of, really. And the thing that was so scary is the women were more scary than the men. It's as though they had to take on this persona of being tougher, more ruthless, more blunt, more outspoken. And I've got to be honest, they were scary as hell, much more scary than the men were. And so they weren't even remotely being true to who they are and being authentic. They felt that they had to put on this image because that's what was expected of them. And I meet so many people in business, and quite often young people as well. I think it's, when I say young people, probably more the 35, 40-year-olds, not the young people who are starting in business now. And they're looking to see what they think their bosses or their company expect of them. And I don't mean in terms of what they deliver. I mean who they need to be as a person, how they need to come across. And they make these assumptions. They don't even test them out to find out if they're true or not. They just think, this is how my boss wants me to be. This is how my super boss wants me to be. This is how my team expects me to be. And we put on this almost facade, call it a persona, and it isn't who we really are inside. And so really ask yourself, maybe especially as a woman today, as it's International Women's Day, and think, who am I really? Who am I inside? Am I somebody who's going to choose to be exactly the same person at home as I am at work? Although having said that, I'm suddenly thinking, God, when I was married to my last husband, I think I put on quite a lot of image there as well. I didn't have the courage to be me. So maybe it's as true at home. But who do I really want to be? And how can I demonstrate that? Even if at times it turns around and bites me in the bum. I have shared with you some examples where I had to really choose whether I wanted to be me or not. And I will share one of the examples with you again. And it was when I was asked to go and do a talk to a group of probably 80-90% men, about 350 people, 350 people, and mainly people in the IT industry. And I was asked to talk about responsibility. And when I talk about that, I talk very openly about my life and how I learnt it and how I got it wrong. And you could see quite a few people in the audience going, oh God, too much information, we don't need all of this. And the feedback I got afterwards was ranged from inspirational, amazing, loved it, through to much too personal, didn't like it, not comfortable, really would have left if I felt I could, it was really ranged from great to awful. And I had to really think about it. Is it important to me to be authentic, to be open about who I am, open about how I think and feel, open about how I've learned things, challenge people where I think it's appropriate, even if I say, look, hang on, I'm not saying I'm right, this is where I'm coming from and what my thoughts are. And I really had to think about it for about a month, thinking I could lose a lot of business if I'm that personal, because it's probably, certainly at the time, was not how most speakers were. And I made the choice. No, I'm going to be me. You know, I may lose some clients. There may be some clients who aren't comfortable working with me, and that's fine. And so it was a choice. So I really ask yourself to think about it today. I said to you when I had the conversation with Chris that one of the things I admired about him so amazingly was, for me, his most powerful characteristic, and that was that he was 100% authentic. And at times I'm not sure that didn't cost him the top slot at Centrica. When I think a lot of people believed that it would have been Chris who got the job, but he wasn't interested in playing politics. There are all sorts of things that many CEOs feel they have to do. Not Chris. He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't play those games, and that takes guts, and it can bite you in the bum at times. But today, International Women's Day, really think about, am I, in every part of my life, am I somebody who's got the courage to be authentic, be who I really am, demonstrate it, show it, and be proud of it, if you like. So I just wanted to talk today about authenticity, because I do think it's really, really important. And today especially, ask yourself as a woman, even if you're working more in a man's world because of whatever industry you're in, just ask myself, have I got the courage to actually be that person and be exactly who I am, even if I'm maybe at times in the minority. So there's my thought for you this week. Lovely to see you all. If you've got snow, enjoy it. If you've got young children, I suspect it's snowman today, if they can sneak out of school early enough. So I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. This is